All right, I'm gonna throw this in there because it goes along with it. Can you have World War III, what we've been talking about, without the second coming? So can this take place at, let's say, a World War IV?
Uh, World War III would have to be a limited war.
Not a nuclear.
Well, it could be limited nuclear. So,
With the technology of nukes, though, that'd be hard to do, right?
well, I don't know. You know, it's like they're talking about using nuclear weapons combined with nanotechnology, and being able to be more precise about yields and that kind of stuff, and actually have battlefield weapons that could, there's all kinds of interesting things that are going on with this. And so, if I really, I mean, my go-to is that World War III is going to be the war that takes place right after the rapture, and it's going to be the war that it's going to be what we would call World War III. It's going to be the Gog Magog war, and obviously, because you have the Battle of Armageddon, yeah, you can have another war after that. And so, when I'm looking at world events, I don't know for sure that the next war is going to be the Gog Magog war. It sure looks like it's going to be that's what's going to happen. But you could have a World War III, and it could, and when we talk about World War III, we're always talking about, nuclear exchanges and that kind of stuff. You could have World War III without nuclear exchanges. We could do that. World War III with nuclear exchanges, it would have to be pretty limited to get to the point where you have, again, this attack by the Muslims and Russia against Israel. And so what I'm saying is, you can't rule out World War III before the tribulation period, because it could reset a bunch of stuff. So you have World War. Well, when you look at World War II, my grandmother really thought that Hitler was the Antichrist.
Oh, I would have too if I lived at that time. That was a perfect test run.
Yeah, and that's probably exactly what it was. Is a test run by Satan. And so she thought he was the Antichrist, and obviously he wasn't. That was World War II. Millions of people died, and yet we've had decades after that point. And so you could have some kind of war that does the same thing, and then just kind of resets the world, and we go on from that point on. And so that is a possibility. Obviously, there's going to be something that's a conflagration at the beginning of the tribulation period, because a quarter of the earth dies. And then when you're talking about the later battle, it's another third of the earth that dies. And so you got half the earth dead in two wars in the book of Revelation. And so,
and for me, like, we didn't have any of the nukes, so the race up to World War II was get the nuke the fastest, and then we dropped it to kind of go, do you want to mess with this? And then they're like, I'm out.
right.
So to have a World War III where people are kind of restrained, and it's not going to grow and grow and grow, and they're not going to use them in some pompous, arrogant way or anything, I just don't see that.
Yeah. But even with the Gog Magog war, it is limited in the sense that
The whole world doesn't die.
right, the whole world doesn't die, and so there's the ability to make war after that point. And so again, I can't rule out that could happen before all of these events. I don't think it will.
Yeah, I mean, it'd have to happen twice.
Yeah.